we go.
Hello, everyone. This is Dee from Dominext Magazine, sitting here with Knoir.
Hello, everybody.
Disco highlighted. We're here at a holiday party for him, and you've been performing all night and giving us hot track after hot track. So tell me what your ultimate goal is. We just excited to see you. So what are you here to do?
Well, that's a very detailed question, and I'm going to give you a detailed answer. So, I've been writing music for quite some time. I started in music in the 6th grade, where I learned how to play the piano. From there, I was put into an art program in high school, where I was originally playing piano, but playing piano kind of forced into the choir. So I kind of learned how to sing, and it kind of just picked up over time. I never really anticipated to be a singer or anything like that. It was just something that I developed over time. So by the time I graduated high school, I just wanted to test my abilities, and I sat down and started writing. Where I see myself going with it is, I think I can write for a lot of people. I produce all my music. I want to be able to produce for a lot of people in the industry, a lot of people locally. I want to, hopefully get to a national platform where I'm, an advocate for a lot of different things. I believe in having a message and what you write about, what you do, different things, and standing behind that. So I definitely want to be somebody who's out there and doing being an advocate for all kinds of people, definitely.
Without a voice, people without a voice.
Absolutely, people without a voice for sure. Yep.
Okay, so you had your first performance at Tacoma Station. Tell us about that, and Tony Red's birthday party. Tell us about that.
So it's actually a really interesting story behind that. For all of you who don't know, I actually work at MGM Casino as a security officer.
Nice.
So I was coming to work on my daily routine, walking through the casino, and I happened to bump into Tony Red's. And when I ran into my song from a distance for a little while, and I was like, say something,
Yeah,
I don't want to be.
Go for yours.
I don't want to be, bothering people, and he's in private. He's on his downtime. He's not working.
Right.
So I didn't want to, intrude. But then I thought to myself, this is something that doesn't happen often. So you have to take your chances when you get them. So I went up to him and I talked to him a little bit. I let him know that I've been writing on my own. I've kind of been under the radar, just working on my craft for myself and critiquing myself to a point where I wanted to be able to put out a good product rather than just rushing out there as quick as I can get, out there. So I presented to him the song June Nights. I let him hear a little bit of it.
Right then and there?
Right then and there. I played it for him right then and there. Right before I went to work. He enjoyed the song. He really liked it. He told me to email it to him, and I sent it to him. And within a week later, I heard from one of his associates that he was going to be putting together a show. And, he wanted to also have me on his show and everything on the radio station and everything. So, it eventually turned into the performance at Tacoma Park Station, which was for his birthday. He had a birthday bash where he had multiple other artists. Another big name artist that I love to work with. We work actually together at the MGM. Is Cora, the artist. She's a fantastic, phenomenal artist, and we both were performing together. It was my first performance, and she was helping me out.
Were you nervous there?
I was really, really nervous. I try not to show too much of it.
Right.
A lot of it wasn't so much of being nervous about can I sing or not, nothing like that. It was more of getting out there and performing in front of people who I don't know.
Right.
Being out there in front of people who know good music and making sure I put a good impression in their head. I didn't want to mess up. I'm a stickler for being a perfectionist. It sometimes is a curse, but oftentimes with the quality of the music, it is definitely a blessing. So I definitely was nervous. I had my mishaps here and there, but it still wasn't a pretty. It was definitely a growing experience for me. I definitely took a lot from that performance. I learned a lot about my live performance self, which is something that I don't usually get to tap into, which is something I need to get more exposure with. So I hope you guys stay tuned because I definitely have a lot planned.
Okay, you have so many songs. So altogether, how many songs do you have, or how much work have you been doing? Because you had track after track that we were hearing. My favorite is Sundrown, of course. And I just heard the Blue Shutter House.
Blue Shutter
Tell me
House.
about that. That's like Very mellow, very
very, yeah.
feel.
So with that song, particularly, I started writing that one. I wrote the track first, and then I let the track marinate for a little while. It wasn't a very detailed track. That was before I really got comfortable with the software when I was writing tracks. But I knew that I wanted to do something more acoustic, more simplistic, and not a lot of synthesizers going on and different things like that. I wanted to use guitar, and I was planning on putting a drum in there, but I couldn't get a good sequence with the drum, a good cadence, so I left it out. The acoustic sound had a very good sound with it as it was. Mm-hmm. So the idea with that song is I really wanted to be able to tell a very, very, very detailed metaphoric story of a story behind a family pretty much being torn apart, but coming back based on the origin of their blue shutter house that they, in a sense, it's one of those type of stories where you come back to you have a family that starts from a very, very low priced house more than likely. It's probably torn up here and there, but they built it together. You built a home. You didn't buy a house. Right. You built a home. So the story behind that song was, this is a guy who built a home with his wife, and they had kids, and in the story, he had gotten away from what he had built. He was starting to drift away from the blue shutter house. But the blue shutter house, with all the paint peeling off of the house, all of the house breaking in, he found his way back to his home with where his family was. And I love one of my favorite lines with that song is the two boys, one child. That line is
I heard that. I was like, man.
It's very very detailed for me. I was pretty much saying in that line, there's two boys in the house, but one of them is a child, and it's not the son. I was the child.
Preach.
I was the child in the situation, and the only difference between me and my son at that point was that I could shave. Right. That's pretty much all that was. Now, I don't personally have a kid, but I know there's a lot of people who are out there that can relate to a situation where they built a home with somebody, and just with time, relationships fall apart. They have their struggles, but you gotta find your way to come in and bring it back together. Right. So that's what the point of that story, that song and that story was.
So each song is a written story, basically.
Yep, I tried to keep it.
And you wrote all your music.
All of it from scratch.
And where did you record?
I record here in my house.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's nice.
Straight upstairs. I've been putting a lot of equipment together, been investing the money that I make from my job into equipment, getting me some, talking to a lot of people who know good equipment and good investments for an artist at the stage of my career that I'm in. So I don't buy a bunch of stuff that I don't need. I don't waste my time with a bunch of stuff that everybody's saying I need to get. No, I just use what I know I need to use that get the job done for me. So
because you know what you need, know what you want.
Exactly. I know what I need, but at this point where I'm at now is I've gotten most of the stuff that I feel like I need, but I'm trying to evolve into another phase where I'm stepping it up in the production game, and I'm learning about different things that I don't know about. So when I learn about those things, then I can tap into those investments for stuff that I didn't need prior because I didn't have any understanding of how to use that equipment. Right. Okay. So I want to be able to
production. You did all your own production,
all my own production,
your beats, everything.
Absolutely. Yep.
This is a world-renowned artist.
Yep. A lot of it comes back from having a music background, understanding chord progressions and different things like that. Even though I don't usually sit there and think about chord progressions, just the understanding of having that history and that comfort with music in that stance from being classically trained. It helps just be able to produce a good sound and a good style for me. So I like to keep it abstract.
That's cool. And you like you said, you come from a musical background and an artist background because your parents or your mom, I know at least, is a photographer, and she's very, very talented.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I've always been an artist. I started actually before I went to the music program in middle school. I had been drawing. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but at the time I knew I was a good drawer. I could draw really well. So I was thinking I was going to end up doing that in middle school when we had to transition and pick a specific field. But my grandmother had got me a keyboard for Christmas in 5th grade before I transitioned over to 6th grade. And I started messing with it. and a lot of people in the family thought, he has a really good ear for music, and he can, all the stuff that I've listened to on the radio, I just pick it up and play it and listen to it, and then just take it and do what I like to do with it. So I decided to go with music instead, and it's been a hell of a journey since. So
is that when you realized you had a voice, or when did you realize like you could actually sing and you can make a career out of this?
So this is actually a hilarious story. I learned that I could sing when I got to high school. I was in I went to Suitland High School, which had a VPA program, which is Visual Performing Arts. I went in for piano. I learned how to play piano in middle school, and I had took it to high school with a bunch of my friends who also played a bunch of instruments, different things like that. So I decided I'm gonna go and take the next step with music. And when I got there, they told us as pianists that we had to be in the choir because the piano program was too